how did your work for Digi-Key come about? What was like the path into doing that, and like tell us more about what you're specifically like doing for them.
Okay, so man, rewind the clock a bit. I wanted to be a full-time maker after I learned that it was actually a job to be a full-time maker. I didn't know that was a thing until 2018, I want to say, when I started hanging out with other makers and realizing that this is actually a job you can actually have. And after that, I was just like, that's it. Base goal is there. That's career goal. That's what I want to do. I also learned a lot more about social media. I learned how that powerhouse goes. So I started, of course, getting my following up, learning how to post more, learning how to act for the camera, and continuing on with the other crazy stuff. So what ended up happening is at my last job, I was working. We were a startup, and eventually we got bought. At the time, I was going paycheck to paycheck because I don't come from a wealthy family. I'm pretty poor, so I was going paycheck to paycheck. So I couldn't really just go out on the limb and try to become a full-time maker. I just couldn't because I got to pay bills, got to be responsible. This is not one of those 1% dream stories where I'm like, I chased my dream and was homeless for 2 weeks. No, I wasn't living that life. I'm not that person.
Yeah.
So what happened is we got bought.
To like have stable housing, and that helps you. That helps you be more productive and do better too. So yeah, it's
yeah.
Really
I never really understand those stories that they have where a person's like really legitly homeless for a good minute because they refuse to get any other job than their dream job, and I'm like. Like I watched The Pursuit of Happiness, and I'm like, man, you couldn't be working at McDonald's while trying to do this. I'm just saying, like, your wife was doing double shifts, man. You could have been working at Mickey D's and just at night doing it. Everybody got their own path. I'm not here to judge. Point is, I was working there with them, and I was a full-time manufacturer at the time, making the product over and over again. Luckily, since I have tech skills, I learned a lot from that job, and I thank them for all the time that I had. But once we got bought, I remember waking up in the middle of the night because I got an alert on my phone that something was up with my bank, which is like a panic to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
But the panic was a huge deposit had been put in my account. And I was like, what? So like at 3 a.m, I'm calling my bank being like, hey, is everything all right? Like, what's happening? Like, and they're like, oh no, you got a deposit from this company, blah blah blah. And it literally wasn't until I got to work talking to my coworkers, they're like, yeah, they just bought your the rest of your stock in the company. And I was like, oh, that's cool. So during that time, I had enough where I was like, all right, I can be okay for a little while. I was like thinking about it. It took me about 2 weeks, and then I decided to just resign from my position at work. I was like, you guys have been great job, thanks for everything, but I'm going to try to chase my dream. Yeah. So I made a very sappy post on Twitter, like anyone would. I posted a very dramatic, sappy post saying, hey, after all this time, I'm finally leaving my job. I'm going to try becoming a full-time maker. It's what I wanted to do for years. It's been like the dream job as an adult for me. I want to do it, blah, blah, blah. So after I posted that, I was thinking in my head, like, all right, I'm going to be probably on a budget for a little while, but that's fine. Do my thing, get sponsors. I learned how YouTube worked because I had made friends with Alan and everyone else. So I was like, maybe I'll try that. But what ended up happening is Adafruit, of all people, reached out to me saying, hey, Digi-Key has this new like maker thing they're trying to do, and we think you'd be perfect for the job. Do you want to get in contact with them? And I was like, sure, yeah, I would love that. And that's kind of how that started. So Adafruit, much love to you guys. Hope you're doing great with the new baby. They're the ones who reached out for Digi-Key for me and got me connected with them. And then I started talking with Digi-Key, and I'm like, yeah, we want to have a maker on staff because a lot of our people are more engineers, not really makers. And we need someone to be able to bridge that gap in between and help get some stuff out there and that whole thing.
Nice. Yeah.
So that's pretty much what I do for them. I build stuff. I show my face a lot on different things. I get stuff hyped up, do little videos, little content creation for them here and there. Nice. I get to travel, which is nice. I've always wanted to travel for work, and I get to travel to work and do stuff with the company, and that's fun. It's great. I got to go to Italy.
Nice.
Never thought I was going to be in Italy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I do that. I do a whole bunch of content creation. I make for them. I write my projects up. I do video content for them. When things happen, I connect them, let them know this is happening in the field, that whole thing. So it's a whole bunch of juggling, but it's all stuff I was doing already. It's just now doing it for a company. So it's kind of feel like they're paying me to just be myself.
That's the best kind of job I think you can have.
I'm not filtered or anything. I just get to be myself. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. This is what living your dream feels like, huh?
That's
Still
awesome.
not enough. Netflix, I'm coming for you. No.
I like it.
But yeah, so that's what I do for Digi-Key. That's what we do. I'm working with them to get more stuff out. And even this year, my goal, for especially what I started off with, I started this last year too in December, was to make a workshop bot for Digi-Key. Because when we go to events, we did this twice. We did one in Silicon, then we did one in SuperCon. And both of those events, we were in Silicon, we did a cost making thing. We did the arc reactor,
Yep.
which was great.
I got mine.
And then SuperCon, we kind of just put some stuff together for our fields. But I personally was like, hey, we should have our own like workshop bot. That way we can have easy workshops when we do these events and not have to rely on cost making or things like that, which is nothing wrong with that. But like, I don't like having to worry about using a big company IP like Disney,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
Digi-Key is a very big company, and for some reason they don't like us one day and be like, hey, everything you have that has Marvel on it or even a title, you can't have it anymore. So
They are incredibly protective of their trademarks and characters and are pretty much known for going after anybody and anybody who uses them without permission. Yeah.